Number 2, the Houston Rockets. So here's where the Rockets ranked the last couple of years in defensive rating. They were 5th last year, and they were 7th the year before that. Under Ime Udoka, this team keeps getting better defensively. They go from 7th to 5th. I think they're going to go all the way up to number 2 this year. Reasons, plenty, right? I feel really good about this prediction. So, number 1, you subtract Jalen Green, who was their worst high-volume defender per cleaning the glass last year when you look at their plus-minus numbers. And you replace him essentially with Kevin Durant, who is not the defender that he was, especially when you think about his peak in Golden State, where I thought he was a really good underrated rim protector, and obviously can, with his length, can affect things on the ball. But he's still an impactful defender. He's not that. He was Phoenix's best defender last year. That was on the court, more than somebody like Ryan Dunn was. Now, he's not what he used to be, but he's still way better than what Jalen Green is. So I think because of that, you're going to just see an automatic jump. You remove your worst defender in high volume minutes from the group, and you replace him with Kevin Durant, who just with his length alone is a lot more bothersome than Jalen Green. Now, that said, I am a little worried because now with Jalen Green out and Fred VanVleet hurt, and that's a big part of this, Fred VanVleet sort of as that point of attack defender, with him gone, I am a little worried about Reed Sheppard on that end. Teams are going to attack Reed Sheppard. He's going to be targeted. He might lead the league in being targeted defensively. Partly because he's unproven and he's small, and because of that, he kind of deserves it. And then I almost don't care. Like so what, right? And a point guard comes in, starts trying to attack Reed Sheppard. All right, have at it. Here's Amen Thompson. Here's Tari Eason. Here's Jabari Smith Jr. Here's Kevin Durant with their long limbs trying to bother you. So you get a foot in the paint. Fine, we're crowding you. We're gonna force you to kick it out and start over. Not to mention we've got Steven Adams, Clint Capella, Alperen Sengun at the rim. Like I think they're gonna be okay. If there's a defense that can withstand a Reed Sheppard and still be elite on that end, it's this one. The other part of this too, more Amen Thompson minutes in a featured role. I think that is huge. I think we're going to see a potentially transcendent year from Amen Thompson on the perimeter defensively. Here's the list of guys who averaged 1.4 steals and 1.3 blocks per game last year. Amen Thompson. That's it. Only 2 players in the league last year totaled 80 steals and 80 blocks last season. Amen Thompson with 97 steals and 89 blocks, and Jaren Jackson Jr., a former Defensive Player of the Year, who plays center. NBA GMs called Amen Thompson the most versatile defender in the league. I think they're a little over their skis right now. I think that's projecting forward a little bit too much. I don't know that I would go most versatile in the league, but he's definitely on the short list. And by the end of this year, the NBA GMs might look absolutely correct. In a way, like you look at the NBA GM survey, they typically don't project forward that much. They're usually kind of just reacting to the season that just happened. When you look at that annual GM survey and who wins these different categories, in this sense, they're very much projecting forward. Not to say that Amen Thompson didn't have a great year. He definitely had a great year. But to call him the most versatile defender in the league is a projection because that's not what he was last year. He could be this year. I think that there's real potential to see a transcendent type of year from Amen Thompson as a perimeter defender in the way that we haven't seen perhaps since Kawhi Leonard at his peak. I think we're in for a huge Amen Thompson year. So not only do you have Amen Thompson, you replace Jalen Green with Kevin Durant. Can they get more than 57 games from Tari Eason? If Tari Eason can stay healthy, that's huge for them. Yes, they lose Dylan Brooks in the Kevin Durant trade, but they do add Durant and Dorian Finney-Smith. I think that's huge. I think their defense has gotten, like I said, better and better every year under Ime Udoka. They signed Clint Capella. I know that people don't really understand the signing. I haven't heard like a national pundit say, yeah, I totally understand the signing. And for the record, I think I'm a little warmer on it than most people are. I'm willing to give this Rockets front office and Raphael Stone the benefit of the doubt. The way that they've maneuvered this thing, they have a plan for Clint Capella. Just because you don't know it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. They have a plan for Clint Capella. And we already saw a little bit of it in the preseason. They're going to lean into the double big lineup. They're going to start Sengun at the 5, most likely. even with Van Vliet hurt. But that, like, they're going to lean into Şengün and Steven Adams, Şengün and Clint Capella. Heck, we could see Clint Capella and Steven Adams. I don't know if we're going to see it, but who knows? Like, they have a plan. They have a plan with this. Their first lineup is going to be more likely than not Reed Sheppard, Amen Thompson, Kevin Durant, Jabari Smith Jr., and Alperen Şengün. That we've basically seen that group now with Durant be awesome defensively. You can get to a lineup of Amen Thompson, Kevin Durant, Dorian Finney-Smith, Alperen Şengün, Steven Adams. I mean, Tari Eason can jump into a couple of those different spots. You add Capella as insurance. You get several different versions of that jumbo lineup that just mucked stuff up for opposing offenses. I'm not worried about injuries with this team because it just feels like even with the Van Vliet injury already kind of baked in, they can withstand basically an injury to anybody other than Amen Thompson, and maybe even Amen Thompson for a couple of weeks here because they have Tari Eason as long as he's healthy. They can withstand injuries to most of these guys and be just fine defensively. Not all at the same time, obviously. So I'm going Houston Rockets number 2. I think they have the highest defensive floor outside of anybody outside of Oklahoma City in the league. The personnel is nails. The coaching is obviously there. They take care of all the smart things, right? They don't allow you to score in transition. They rebound the snot out of the basketball. They take care of they clean everything up. They don't give you anything easy. And I think this year we could be in for an Amen Thompson Defensive Player of the Year type of year. And if that's the case, I think this team can go another level. They went from 7th to 5th in defensive rating. I have them being 2nd in defensive rating this season.